Yeah.
I have to leave early.
Okay.
So I just didn't want you to think that was an editorial comment on the presentation.
Just seeing if everybody can hear me now. Sean is getting set up right now. You can put your name in the chat and we'll start taking roll call if you guys can hear me.
Offense initiates the contact in the torso, touch. Legal guard position, offense initiates head and shoulder pass, the hitting in the hip. All right. All right, we're going to get going here, guys. Let me open up the. We're going to get creative. Yes. And today is practice number 2. And this is new. How do I? Clear up. Presentation mode is what I'm looking for. Is this it? Boom. Perfect. All right. So hopefully you're here. Either you're one of the 80 officials that are assigned to a varsity game within Premier Sports Officials Association, or you are an official who is not assigned and you are looking to work varsity not only with ourselves, but somewhere in the state of Nebraska. So right now, I will tell you, I have 143 openings left in varsity assignments of our assignments. And we have our varsity tryouts, our last varsity tryouts, Sunday, November 2nd. I think there's 6 signed up for that right now. We had 20 sign up for the first one. So we will see who all tries out. I know there's a couple officials who have worked varsity for previous seasons, and they reached out to me, do I have more varsity games? And I told them yes, but I'm not going to make any more varsity assignments until after our tryouts November 2nd. Because the ones who have the ability to work varsity basketball, I want them to get the opportunity, whether that's 3 dates, 4 dates, 6 games, 8 games. That's something better than nothing. Because at the end of the day, you can't start your varsity journey without a start. And those who do have varsity experience are looking for more varsity games. You should know by now, it never stops. Opportunities never stop. Myself and Dick Morrissey work pretty hand in hand, close with each other throughout the season. college officials get bumped up, we're then look for varsity officials. So if you are on our team, I'm not going to promise you 10 or 20 games, 2, 4, 6 games. However, if you're on the varsity team, you're on the bench, there's an opportunity to play. Okay, there's an opportunity to play. So thank you for coming here today. Our theme, commitment to consistency. All right, so there's really, I'm going to speak as a partner first. There's absolutely nothing worse than showing up to a varsity game outside of our group with 2 officials or another official like, oh, we don't do it that way. Oh, we do it a different way. And I know I'm live, and I'm going to say that is absolute bullshit. All right, because it's not my way. It's not our way. It's the NFHS NSAA way from this beautiful book that they give us. Okay, because now that's me talking as a partner. Now I will talk to you as a coach. All right, so we show up and we start doing our thing, and we grab the coach at, let's say, 18 minutes. And the coach is like, why are you grabbing us so early? Or we grab a coach at 7 minutes. Why are you grabbing us at 7 minutes? Because based on the book mechanics, they have routines. They have player routines. They have stretching routines. All right, and we're just talking about pregame now. Okay, so that's what I'm asking you. Commit to consistency. That way, no matter who you work with, no matter who you work for, if everybody's doing it the same way, people could get consistency. All right, so there's a lot more to it than we officials think. Then, no, that's not the way I do it. I'm going to do it my way. That's what's going to set coaches off. Okay, that will set coaches off. So I gave you that handout. So the purpose of that handout, I'm not asking you to write down 20 million notes like you're in high school or college, but commit to one thing covered today that you will do this season. All right, commit to it. All right, so we're going to go through a lot quicker than we did yesterday, but there's still stuff for everybody to commit to. So the first one, arrival time, pregame arrival. All right, so the expectation is 60 minutes. When you're driving 2 hours, hopefully you're driving with each other. Because believe it or not, I try to get officials from a geography that could drive together. New officials, when you do that, offer to pay for gas, offer to pay for drinks, offer to pay for food. Don't take a free ride, right? Because us officials, it's telegram, telephone. Teleref is way faster than any form of communication out there ever. All right, so you want to be a person, yes, I want to work with them, and that's part of the drive, right? Be somebody you want to drive with. Dress respectably. What does that mean? You probably shouldn't show up in a gym with a cutoff sleeve shirt and, cut off jeans. All right, dress how coaches would dress. Jumpsuit, golf attire. Just, you are sending messages when you go into gyms. And if you're a new official, if you don't think they're judging you from the time you get out of your car, the way you parked your car, you're kidding yourself. All right, especially in small towns and small communities. Trust me, somebody from Omaha goes to a small town, you don't fit in. They know why you're there. All right, so be ready for that. Check in with the athletic director. Athletic director is very, very busy. I'm not saying that's the first thing you do, but make some type of contact with that athletic director. When they see the officials there, guess what happens to their blood pressure? Whew, all right, got officials. Whew. All right, so somehow, some way, check in with the athletic director. It might not even be person to person. It's, hey, we're the officials. Is the athletic director here? Could you let them know we're here? And then people will communicate with that individual. Have one pregame topic conversation. You have pregame boards. There's like 60 things. You're not going to go. Trust me, I'm realistic. All right, just find one. All right, technical foul, intentional foul, flagrant foul. Hey, I've had this team before. This is what I could tell you about the player. This is what I could tell you about their offense. That's a pregame topic. Talk one thing. I highlighted this because this is mine. because I want to share with you what I'm going to commit to. Stretch, build muscle, check partner's uniform. All right, I worked a whole football game, and I'm going to blame Bryce Kirkman over here, with one of my pockets untucked. All right, then I get on film and I see on film my pocket untucked. I'm like, son of a gun, not one single guy on my crew checked out my uniform. Son of a buck. All right. How many people have gone on a basketball court with their zipper down? Okay. I mean, don't want to be awkward, but don't let your partner do that. All right. So check your partner. So stretch. All right. Build muscle and check partner's uniform. If you want to learn how to build muscle, you can watch the video from yesterday. On court arrival, 15 minutes. 15. That is book 15. Okay. Why is 15 important? What are players doing before we get on the court? Dunking. We're on the court at 18. Guess what you have to do? Technical foul. Okay. If you want to be really crazy, stupid like me, I blow my whistle before we walk into the gymnasium. The players know we're about to walk on the court to avoid the technical foul. I love players dunking before the game. I think it's great for the crowd. I think it's great for the athletes, especially if there's a college coach there. But that's not the rules. So our mechanics are 15 minutes. That's the biggest thing with the consistency on 15 minutes. Where you do have a little leeway. Okay, it's okay to have a little personality based on how long your pregame is as a referee. Between 15 and 10, you have to complete the coach's, captain's book, basketball, and equipment. All right, so a lot of rules. Number one, why does it have to be done by 10? Book has to be final. Okay, has to be. I have the coaches sign it. You don't have to do that. That's not the manual. All right, that's how I make sure the coaches have checked it. Okay. So I sign it when I see the players' numbers match up with the players warming up. I see that, yes, starters are recorded. Coaches signed it. I sign it. All right. So I go above and beyond, but that's why the 10 minutes. All right. The equipment, if the possession arrow is not working, we now have 10 minutes to fix it. And if they can't fix it, we could communicate to coaches, hey, the possession arrow is not working at the table. We're going to use the one on the scoreboard. Let the coaches know that. Why near the table? All right, near the table, that's where the coaches are. We want the coaches near the sideline as much as possible. Captains come to the near to the table. Now coaches and captains are in the same spot. And we stay out of the way of the middle where everybody else is warming up. We're not stepping over players stretching. Would you agree most players are doing stretching or other drills in the middle of the court? That is the real reason why they do it near the table. 10 to 2 watch players, opposite table. Again, you guys are being watched. So if we're all chatting with each other and we're not paying attention on warm-ups, you might have a player dunk. You might have another team dunk, and then the coach say, why didn't you call that a technical foul? It's like the cops, right? If you see a cop coming, like you see a cop a half mile away, what are you going to do? You're going to slow down. If you see no cops or the cop's not paying attention, every time you go by this, it's an empty car. What are you going to do? You're going to keep speeding. Okay, so proximity. All right, again, consistency is going to prevent players from doing something they shouldn't be doing. And if we're just chatting and having our backs to the players, they know. Meet coaches. Again, you don't have to meet coaches at 2 minutes. I put this 2 minutes in there. You could do it right after the captains, coaches meeting, U1 and U2. But if you want to meet the coaches again, don't do it under 1. Because guess what they're doing under 1 minute? They're coaching. You don't want to interrupt that stuff. All right. You don't have to do the 2-minute meet coaches. The main thing is don't meet under 1, and then 0 lineups and anthem. So I highlighted the near. Again, I'm going to commit, get to the table and do the table. That's what I'm committing to there. Opening tip. Okay, again, we're going to fly through this. A lot of mechanics because we're going to get to video. That's probably more important for you officials here. Referee, whistle out of your mouth. We don't want you breaking teeth. High toss and straight toss. Has anyone practiced tossing it yet? Practice. All right, so we got 2. Practice that. Always the first trail, and I put exception backcourt recovery. All right, what we mean by backcourt recovery, it goes all the way in the back, and then they're going to dribble the ball up 94 feet. That's the exception to everything there. But in your mind, referees, you just stay in the middle, you get the possession arrow pointed, and then you get to the trail position. Don't be in a hurry to get to the trail. U1, U2, right? You are 2-person for about 5 seconds. You're 2-person crew for 5 seconds. Tell that to yourself as your U1 or U2. U1 stable side, you're chopping the clock on legal touch. Be ready for violations. Bad toss, out of bounds. The jumper grabs the basketball. Okay, so those are the violations that could happen. U2 opposite table, be ready for violations once again, and you are going to be the first C, all right, or the first lead, with the exception of that long recovery. Before I go on to the next one, so again, my highlight practice. I'm working youth basketball, middle school basketball right now, practicing tosses. So my first toss is not a varsity toss or a college toss. Primary coverage area. I don't have a lot of words on this one because we're going to have tons of plays on PCA, primary coverage area. All right. But the most important thing, lead official. It's all about the primary defender and where are they starting. So what comes up is pass and crash. A pass and crash is going to happen right here in the middle of the court. Right? Typically, who gets crashed into? Is it the primary defender or secondary? The secondary defender. All right, so when you're talking with partners, pass and crash, lead official, you are taking those passes and crashes. How many times have you have a pass and crash and lead official, you go like this with the basketball? All right, well, your defender's not going with the basketball. You got to stay with your defender, okay? It's all of that PCA primary coverage area is all about the defender. All right, so plays that start in the C, the primary defender is in the C, and they take it into the basket or they take it into the trail area. But the primary defender started in the C. Whose call is it? The C, because the primary defender started. Beginning, middle, end. That's the official we want to call in a foul. Okay, primary coverage area, beginning, middle, end. Well, like I said, there's going to be a lot more. Secondary coverage, okay? Now we're going to get into screens. All right, so covering official. If there is a screen in this trail red, the trail has the ball handler and the primary defender on the ball handler. Secondary, so here comes a screener. It could be the screener from the center. It could be a post player screener. Wherever that screener comes from, you have to follow that screener. Right? Again, it's primary defender, secondary defender. So if the second player comes from your area, you should be watching that second player. So screens, it comes up a lot. I think there's 3 plays on screens here. All right, so I call the free throw line the triple D, triple delight. This is where most triple whistles happen. And to avoid the triple whistle, if you are the non-primary calling official, wait. All right, cadence whistle. So that's the bold here. That is my goal. Is if the double whistle's fine. It's not bad to have a double whistle, but it should be a tweet. It should not be at the same time. Because now if it's at the same time as a secondary official, you're not giving the primary official first shot at it. All right, so remember, when we see contact, we're not calling a foul on contact. We're calling a foul result of contact. So let that primary official see the hit, result of the hit, Missed shot, trail official doesn't call it. Boom, now as a center official, all right, that trail official must have been blocked. Now I'm coming in late. And yes, it might be when the defense already rebounded the ball. It might be that late. But yes, get that foul. Okay. Cadence whistle is get it late as a secondary official. And there's a play in here to explain why we want a cadence whistle. Because it's really bad if two officials both call a foul and they're different. All right, really bad. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to say on secondary coverage, if you are in a pregame and you have an official that's assigned by me, okay, don't call me on other groups. If you have an official that is assigned by me and they say, if you come in my area, I'm going to get pissed at you. Stay out of my pond. I don't want them working for us. I need to know that. Because at the end of the day, if I miss a call right in front of me and the grandma in the top row saw it, I need somebody to get that foul for me. Okay, it's just going to be in late. It's just going to be a cadence whistle. All right. Now, if you have 10 double whistles at the same time and a veteran official tells you, hey, slow down your whistle, all right, they're doing you a favor. They're trying to keep you out of trouble. Okay. Any questions on that cadence whistle and or calling a foul outside of your area? All right, rotations. Lead. If you're new, best advice I ever got. If your eyes are looking across the lane, go. Okay. There's a lot of situations to go. There's a lot of things to process. New officials, if your eyes are going across the lane, looking, just go. Okay. Because if you're looking there, you're not looking in where you're supposed to be looking, and let the officials adjust when you go. Okay. Now, veteran officials, when should you go? Competitive post matchup. You have the ball settled below the free throw lane line on the other side, or you have 6 or 8 players on the other side of the court. Just start going. And remember, when you go, if they shoot, if they drive, just go back. All right, so I tell officials all the time that they hop across or they sprint across. Don't hop or sprint across. All right, because we are not, when I say we, the trail and center are not switching until you as the lead go like this, turn your back the other way. All right, so there's been times where I've actually crossed all the way across the lane line. Shot goes up, I just go back. Okay? Because does it matter if the lead new trail runs up the middle of the court or goes back on a diagonal to the other side of the court? Does that matter? Does it matter if I do rotate during the shot? Now I have a trail stepping down as a C. I have the new C staying a C. Now I have 2 Cs. That's a problem. Okay, that's a huge problem. So that's why as a lead, whoop, just go back. Okay, so those are the 2 things, new officials. Eyes go, if they shoot, go back. Center, the one time the center official will initiate a rotation is a trap in the coffin corner, because you have to officiate the division line. You have to officiate 2 defenders with the legality on this ball handler, and it is almost nearly impossible for the trail on the other side of the court to do it. All right, so that's the one time the center official is going to come up. When the center official gets there, then the lead is going to come across the court, and then the old trail will step down. Okay. If there's a quick turnover, all right, on that situation, on that rotation, it is better to have 2 leads than no leads. So it's okay if both get to the baseline for a transition, and then we could communicate who's going to take the C. Right? It's always better to have 2 leads than to 2 Cs. All right. So yeah, okay. Press coverage. Center, hold. All right, so that's highlighted for me. Hold. All right, so I'm a football official this time of year. Every free kick is an onside kick until it's proven not. All right, how many onside kicks are there in a football game? It's like 0.2. Okay. Every change of possession, whether it be rebound or a made basket, I am telling myself as a C, somebody's going to press and or do a surprise, go steal a basketball. Everyone understand the play we're talking about? Right? Every single play, I'm telling myself that. For the one time a game it happens, I'm there for my crew. Okay. So center official, hold and tell yourself, every play is a press. Every play is going to be tried to stolen or defended right on the catch. That is your calls to see. Because trail, you're staying behind. You're staying out of bounds. You got 5-second count. You got thrower violation. You got whoever's guarding the thrower violation playing. You can't catch everything. How did that offense get open? Did the offense get open? Why didn't the offense get open? That's all to see. That's a blessing of having 3 officials. And then lead official, I got dinged on this last year in observation. And the observer was completely right. Every single time as a lead, I just went straight to the baseline. Boom, turn and burn, go, turn and burn, go. Uh-oh, now they're pressing. Nobody's coming with me. And actually the big men are staying at the division line. I am literally nowhere to help my crew. All right, so you want to go with the first 2 players down the court. And if the first 2 players down the court stop at the division line, you just stop at the 28-foot line. There's no reason to run to the baseline, okay? I'm not pointing that as a commitment to me because it got dinged on an observation. Haven't done that wrong since. All right, amazing what that does. Free throws, okay? So this is not the correct one. That is not the correct one. Okay, we're gonna change this. This diagram is not correct, okay? So the lead official actually has that first player underneath and then the opposite 3. So the lead official has 4 players. The center official has the shooter and the opposite 2. That is for violations. Violations. That's where people are like, I didn't call that foul because it wasn't my number. It wasn't my player. Violations is what this diagram is for, right? Minus this number 5, lead has that one, okay? Once that shot goes up, yes, center officials, you still got the violation. They can't step over and box out the shooter. The shooter cannot enter the free throw line until it hits the rim. That is still the center official, okay? Trail official, make sure nobody enters the 3-point arc until it hits the rim. But if anyone sees a foul anywhere on the court, guess what you could do? Boop, foul. Okay? There is no primary coverage area for fouls. If you see a foul on a free throw, call a foul. Okay, so that was the rationale, by the way, why they changed the high school rule, 5 fouls, 2 free throws. They took away the 1-and-1 bonus because they wanted less contact plays on free throws. Right, so with that being said, in our heads as officials, rough play happens during free throws. Get it early so you don't have to worry about it late. Right, if you get them legal early and get the first foul on a free throw, they're not going to be forcing their way through each other with 7 seconds left, and 2 of those players have 4 fouls, and it's like, I don't want to be that official that fouls out a player. Take care of it early so you don't put yourself in a situation later. Unsporting management. So you could obviously see one of my goals here. Recognize, diffuse, and force report. All right. Whole segment yesterday. We're not going to go over that. But goal number 1, with 3 officials, don't have unsporting behavior. Yes, I will probably have technical fouls this year. I hope I have 0 ejections. But I'm going to ask myself every time there's a technical foul, what is it I or the crew could have done not to have it? Okay. Sometimes the coach just throws the chair on the court, but something leads up to that. Is there something I could have done to recognize that coach, settle down that coach before he did that or she did that? Okay. So that's our number 1 goal. Number 2, if we whack and stack, okay. I said this in the first 2 meetings, what we allow they're going to do. Players and coaches. And I'm not saying give out 50 million technical fouls first games out of the year. All right, but don't ignore unsporting behavior. If they don't take the warnings, if they don't take the bench decorums, whack them, all right, and get paid for it. After the technical foul, after the whack, get everybody away. Have everybody go to their sidelines. Go talk to your coaches here for a second. All right. How many people have called a technical foul? Raise your hand. How many people have called a blocking foul before? Raise your hand. Do you feel the same emotionally after a blocking foul and after a technical foul? No. Okay. Understand that. Yes, I say it's just another foul, but it's different. All right. So when you get together as a crew, all right, the calling official is now going to have time to relax. The non-calling officials gets the information from that calling official. All right, I gave a technical foul to number 44 blue for taunting the opponent. This is what the player did. Sweet. All right, I will make sure to let the shooting team know there's 2 free throws. They're going to get the ball at the division line. They get to choose any sub whatsoever. How many officials knew that? Right. Any sub whatsoever. And I'm going to tell the coach that as the non-calling official. Oh, thanks for telling me that. Sweet. Number 12, go sub in. You're our best free throw shooter. Okay. And then now the reporting official, go report, walk away. And then the next official stays at the division line, talks to players, talks to coaches. The coach wants to know, what did 44 do? What did 44 say? Now it's the non-calling official, the non-emotional official, in the coach's eyes, the safe official doing all that explanation. Because what you want to avoid is this. I whack. I don't talk to anybody on my crew. I'm mad. I'm pissed off. The coach is mad and coach is pissed off. And now the coach says something to me that I'm already upset. And now I give the technical foul to the coach. We want to avoid the same official giving 2 technical fouls in a row. How do you do that? Get away. Okay, get away. Okay, so if you whack, get together, slow everything down. There's no reason to hurry. No reason to hurry. It's literally an extra 20 seconds. At the end of the day, it's an extra 20 seconds to calm ourselves, share information, enforce it right, prevent the next technical foul. Okay. Last second shots. Lead official, officiate your area, right? Your area. You hardly ever should you have an opinion on the last second shot, good or no good, with the exception of a dunk or a layup. All right, a dunk or a layup, you might have an opinion on it. Trail center, communicate who has shots. Again, there's different ways people communicate. I don't really care how you communicate, just communicate. All right, so I'll go my shot, your shot. Some people go this, all right, and they don't even point. It's my shot, okay? However you communicate, just make sure there's communication so we avoid the boop, 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 count it, boop, 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 wave it off. That's never good, right? And it's that communication that prevents that. Because I will tell you, when you're caught up in the moment, you lose track of that, and your partner then communicates with you again. Oh man, I'm really glad they pointed at me. I forgot it was my shot because we had a rotation. Now I'm center opposite table. Okay? Communicate, communicate, communicate. All right, perfect. I am going to go to RefQuest. All right, here is going to be, oh, did I go? Nope, I nailed that. I want to make sure I have the sound off. Just in case. So here's going to be the drill. We are going to see a play. All right, and I'll start with Bryce. Bryce, you're the guinea pig. All right. I'm going to ask you, what is the call? All right. Who is the call against? Why do you have the call? And when I say call, some of these could not be fouls. So that's what a no call is a call. All right, so who did it? What is the call? Why is it the call? And then what's the resumption of play? If there needs to be a resumption of play. Okay? So straight line path. What straight line path is, we have a dribbler going towards the basket. By rule, that dribbler now has to have a straight line path to the basket, and the defender has to go backwards to get to that straight line path. The defender cannot go forward into the dribbler. Okay? Here we go. All right, so Bryce, what do you got?
Blocking foul on white head and shoulders past the defender. It's on the floor, so it comes to the play will be off the lane.
Perfect. All right. So white, 44, block, moving forward into the defender, ball's right here. Okay. So that's the drill. All right. Correct call. All right. We're going to get to play number 2. Matt Cross, you ready? Yeah. And notice what official who calls it? Lead official calls it. It's in that lead official's primary coverage area from the beginning, middle to the end. All right, here we go. Play number 2, straight line path. All right, Matt, what do you got? Perfect. All right, so Matt's story, he calls charge, player control. He calls the charge, and he wants to explain to the coach in the torso, right? So not only charge into the torso, offense into the torso. Brendan, you ready? All right, here we go. Play number 3. Everyone see the mistake right now? Okay. So we're going to play it again. So this is the previous play. Oh, by the way, we can't tell a coach in the game, hey, coach, can we play that again? But for training purposes, we'll play it again. Okay, so this is the play again, Brendan. All right, so you have charge. Why do you have a charge? All right. So, I will tell you, this is probably the biggest 50-50 call in this training tape. This goes back to, I don't care what you call. I don't care what you call. You have to sell it, and one official has to sell it. All right, so we're going to go back 4 seconds. We talked about primary, secondary. We're going to go back 8 seconds. Oh, dang it. Whose primary is it? C's. The center official, when these 2 players get closer, is going to be watching that defender from the the beginning, middle, and to the end. So at this point, all right, should only be the center official's whistle. It's the only whistle that we should have on the court. Now ignore the center official for right now. Just ignore him. Now, this is when I'm going to come in as a lead. This is when I'm going to come in. So if I don't have a whistle from the center official, let's say I'm working with a newer official, just happened too fast, and it's like, oh my God, we've been there, all right? Now as a lead official, I am coming in because everyone agreed we have to have a foul here. Have to, okay? So now as a lead official, I'm going to be coming in. If I did not see it from the beginning, middle, and end, I'm going to always convert to block, right? I have to see the whole thing to call charge, right? So, but we don't have a cadence whistle, and now we have 2 officials signaling. Okay? We cannot ignore this rule, guys. If this happens to you, literally, if this happens to you, veteran officials, what do you have to do by rule? Double foul. You report the charge, you report the block, and then what's the resumption of play? Alternating possession rule. Okay? So when we screw up, there is a rule for it. Just avoid it. Cadence whistle. Yes. We have to get together and we have to, this one is easy. I mean, he still has possession of the ball. The ball's not released. So we would not. Yeah, but if that ball's off their hand, the ball actually remains live. You would count the basket if it goes in. No free throws. You go to alternate possession arrow. You can, yeah. I'm going to do everything I can as an official to say, in my judgment, that ball was still in contact with the hand. It's a double foul, contact with the hand. No, because we have a charge. Yep, we have a charge. Yep, yep. If it's released, unfortunately, yes. So right now, well, that's what we're saying. We don't want the lead coming in here. Oh, just reaction. Yep. It's just one of those plays where you saw the contact, you call the contact. Yep. This is not easy, guys. I'm just telling you. I love it. I would love it. It's tough. I would like one call. I'll talk as a supervisor and as a coach. I'd rather have one call and somebody being wrong than having two different calls, like who's right, who's wrong. Yeah. Yeah, it's not easy. Not easy. All right, DeAndre, you ready for this one? Go for it. So anyone have the rule book on them? All right, so that'll be the question to look up. A charge after the release of the basketball, because I want to keep going. All right, so charge after the release of basketball. Do you count the basket or not? All right, DeAndre, you ready? So what's the call? Who? Reason why? Resumption of play. Okay, hand check. Why? And who? And where's the resumption of play? Perfect. Awesome. All right. And understand this is the trails call. All right. We're 60-40, right? 60-40 on top. When in doubt, we're giving it to the trail. And the trail does take that right here. You're going to see the trail official call the foul, two hands. All right. Every single time, hand check, two hands on that stops the dribbler, we have to call a foul. Okay, so that's a hand check foul. All right, Rod, you ready for this one? All right, so notice how right now, the purpose, just so I could explain the arrow. See how the official's looking at that player's number on the back? So it's saying move. If you see the player's number, that's what they're saying there. All right, so Rod, here you go. What do you got and why? And why? Yep. Okay. So boom, block, contact initiated by the defender, short and sweet, and resumption of play. Absolutely. Outside of the 3-point arc, 28-foot line. Okay. We'll go. Jason Chagnon. We'll get the next play here. Take one more of this category, and then we'll go on to the next foul. You have anything here, Jason? I'm going to go back to the beginning. All right. So you have a foul, and what are you going to report to the table? Yeah. So go ahead. Talk. So, okay, I'm going to, actually, I wanted to pause it there. So right now, 2 hands are on the dribbler. What's the dribbler doing at this moment? 2 hands are on him. Anyone see what the dribbler is doing? He's stopping. So now this is the moment as an official. I'm probably somehow, some way, hands. I'm probably going to step towards that, hands. All right, because now that is a body language that coaches can see. What am I trying to prevent? I'm trying to prevent a foul. The reason why right now this is not a foul, because the 2 hands did not stop the dribbler. The dribbler actually stopped himself. Hands. Sweet, perfect. Oh. Now the second one, this is going to be the second one now. See how the dribbler is moving forward? 2 hands on a moving. Get the first foul. Okay. Yeah. And I'm glad you said the third one I'm going to get. No, don't get the third one. Get the first one. Get the first one. Because if you don't get the first one, they turn over on the second one because you're going to wait for the third one. Who's the coach going to yell at? Us as the officials. Get the first one. Okay. So right here, and I'm fine with hold. White, 13, hold, sideline out of bounds. Okay. Get the first one is the point of that one. Let's get to another category. All right. This should be dual freedom of movement. We have freedom of movement in high school as well. All right, this is where we get in trouble. All right, a lot of times this official and the center official are going to be watching the ball. If we're both watching the ball, we don't see this action. Okay. Well, you want to know what's really hard on this one? If you really pay attention to the officials, what did the officiating crew miss? Where's the lead official? This is a perfect example. If we're out of position, we're probably going to miss calls. Okay, so that trail official, he's really the center official. All right, because in this trail official's mind, where's his primary coverage area? He's the lead. He rotated. Ah, all right. Yep. All right. So how important is it for positioning? Because if we miss a rotation, All right, we now have two trails. We have two trails thinking they're 60-40 up top. We have nobody officiating the other side of the basketball court. That's why this call was missed. It's positioning, it's mechanics. It's not because the officials don't have good judgment. Okay? All right. So now this is again showing where should this, there's actually two philosophies out there, but notice how that trail official sees the player's back. You cannot officiate a play seeing the player's back. You got to move. So you could either go down or you could actually go higher onto the court. All right, so people say, I don't know. We're not worried about him right now. We're worried about where we have to be to see plays correctly. Okay, so if you're in this position as a trail official, right here, right, and you're seeing the player's back, you're seeing the player's number. Some people teach you to go higher and onto the court. Cool, awesome. Some people teach you to go lower onto the court, see through the play. Cool, awesome. You have to do one or the other. All right, because if you don't, you're not going to have all the information. And guess what? This is what coaches see. They see your location. There's no way you saw that. You're standing right behind. And then we get all defensive, and now it becomes an argument, right? All because of positioning. All right, and that's the argument right there of going back. All right, so freedom of movement, that is not freedom of movement right there. Okay, not freedom of movement. You can't hold and restrict freedom of movement. All right, Tyler, you got this one. And why the lead? All right, his primary. All right, so this is saying trail official, move back, get a bigger picture. Okay, if you move back and get a bigger picture, right, you could argue maybe this trail official saw it. All right, but see now, where's the lead looking? You see his eyes? All right, he's looking into the lane instead of being wide and looking into the primary. All right. Where's the trail official's eyes right now? On the ball. The lead official's eyes are in the lane. So does anyone see this foul from the beginning, middle to the end? No. All right. And guess who sees that? Where are the coaches at right now? They're opposite the table. And I don't know if all high school coaches are that good, but I'm telling you, there are high school coaches that are that good. All right. They know where officials are looking. They are that in tune to the game. There's no way you saw that. How could you call that a foul? Yeah, I did see it. I saw the whole thing. They know. They know. Don't lie to a coach. Okay, so this is freedom of movement, correctly called. So good for him of having the wherewithal on that. 22 white. Right. We'll go L. You take this one. But we had a wide open layup. Why'd you call a foul? All right. Anyone see when the official called the foul? Like, this is the true thing. When did the official call the foul? When they didn't pass it to him. All right. When they didn't pass it to him. Cadence whistle. Yes, I see the hold. I see the hold. Wide open. Don't pass it to him. Boop. Calling a foul. Okay. So it's okay to have that slow whistle. Did the correct official call it? Because right now, the trail official is watching what play? Ball and whoever's guarding the ball. So now this trail official, the lead official, the secondary official is now opening up vision. All right, so this is what we're talking about. This is outside of the lead's area, but the lead has to get there because there's a screen and your partner needs help. Did the trail call it as well? All right, so that's a good time. Blow, sort of what Jason said there earlier, blow and hold. All right, so we do have double, and it's okay to have both officials blow there. Blow and hold. What do you got? What do you got? You take it. You take it. All right. So 7:15, we're going to move on to the next thing. So this is the show again. What is a foul? What is not a foul? All right. So if you didn't notice the theme, straight line path. Defense has to get in front of that straight line path. They can't meet them. They got to beat them. All right. Hand check, automatic. Freedom of movement. Let players have freedom to move. If you take care of those fouls, the game will call itself. All right. Now we're going to go to huddle. This is how random it is. So I don't think I'm going to pull up anybody. But if for some reason you are on this court, I promise you, I am completely randomly picking the game. I'll just do D2. Anyone work D2 Archangels last year? And if you're watching the video live online, this is not to embarrass anybody, but we are going to go to the beginning of the game. Sweet. All right. PowerPoint. All right. So observation, PSOA, NSAA. All right. So I will say this. Last week, Bryce, you know how many people were at the captain's meeting? Cliff, you were there. How many people were there? 7 or 9? Okay. If you want to observe youth officials, middle school officials, sub-varsity officials, let us know when you sign in for registration. Just put captain next to your name, as in you are looking to be a captain. Okay. So PSOA, what we have taught our captains, and we're going to have another meeting next week. We want officials to go out and give feedback, give scores to our officials on their appearance, their whistle use, signals, mechanics, mobility, judgment, and rules. Okay, so that's literally on that sheet of paper on the back side. You're going to be taught our consistent message, what we're trying to tell all officials. NSAA. Okay, so when we're watching this, the best way to really help yourself is observe other officials and write down what they're doing right and wrong, so you learn from it. What NSAA is looking for, pregame duties. Right, and I tell you what, if you're on that court at 14:59, that will be on your observation form. All right, so pregame duties, court coverage as a lead, court coverage as a center, court coverage as a trail. When observers do go out for NSAA, they typically go out and they are looking at one official only. And I will tell you, this activity, you always ask yourself, well, why don't they do an observation on all 3 officials? What's the big deal? Yeah, you try to observe all 3 officials on this game. Let's see if you could do a good job. Okay, so they typically do go look at one official at a time. So they look at lead, center, trail. Press, and they keep track. Did you get the call right or wrong? Okay, are you calling fouls? It's not necessarily, did you get the foul right? Are you calling your fouls you should call? That's what they're really looking for. Are you calling violations that are your violations? All right, so there's one observer. They keep track of how many fouls and violations every official has, and was it in the correct area or not? Are you calling your area? And then a point of emphasis. Anyone know what's the point of emphasis here for Nebraska? What are the 3 point of emphasis? Flop is one. All right, freedom of movement, there's one more. Whack them and stack them. Okay, bench decorum. And they are looking for officials that can control the benches. All right, so if you ever ask yourself, hey, what can I do to work postseason varsity? What could I do to work a state championship? Control the benches. And they prefer you to control the benches before you give a technical foul. Okay, that's what they prefer. So when we are doing this activity on the backside of the sheet, I might stop it here and there. This is a random game. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to see on this Archangels D2 game. All right. But based on the information that literally we just went over, you guys write down your observations. Okay. I would suggest look at one official of the three. I don't care which one. All right. But I would really focus on one official. It is very hard to focus on three to make sure they do a good job. All right. So we have a lot of categories. It's 7:20 now, so we'll watch till about 7:20. We'll go 7:25. 5 minutes. I'll teach you the 5-minute rule. All right. And what you are going to observe, there's one more slide here. The Likert scale, okay? So if you feel your official that you're watching on this game should not only be state tournament, but should be college in that category, you're going to give them a 6. Okay. If you think they should be only postseason varsity, high school only, not college, you're going to give them a 5. Varsity, but not postseason, so regular season. All right. A 4. All right. You probably won't get, well, you might get into some 3s for sub varsity stuff, but not in all the categories. Hopefully you don't see any middle school or youth stuff, but if you do, it's a 2. And then a 1 is they're actually brand new, which won't be on here. Or you don't think they're unable to do it. All right, so that's our scoring category. And now we are going to get into the clip. Again, it's 7:21. We're going to do the 5-minute drill. Whoa. Actually, we might need that. All right, so I'm going to continue playing it, but we didn't cover timeouts and it's on the sheet. When did the official actually turn away after the timeout was requested? After the players got to the bench, right? So you know how we always try to hurry teams out of timeouts? Don't be in a hurry to start it. If you're not in a hurry to start it, right? Let everybody get to their bench. Now turn, boom, timeout, was that red? 30-second call by the coach, start it. Don't be in a hurry to start it. You won't have to be in a rush to end it, okay? All right, so that's the other thing. It is okay to talk. Just be done talking before that horn. Okay, because now what rule do we have to enforce right here, not to the horn? Even before that. Subs. Where does that sub have to be before that horn? At the table at the X, communicating. If they're running right now, too late. Okay. Now we go to the timeout and get them out of the timeout. So that's why you don't want to be talking the whole timeout, because at that horn, we got to be officiating something. Cool. All right. So 5-minute rule, 5-minute rule. All of us in this room have watched these three officials. Hopefully you worked on one official. In 5 minutes, you're one official. If you give them, we're going to start with the lowest. Let's get this here. Let's get this here. Are any of these officials a 1? Anyone have a 1? Any of these officials a 2? Any of these, who's a 2? Okay. Anyone have them as low as a 3? Which one does not belong there and only belongs on subvarsity? Why?
A couple things wrong. Ball came down to the ball on the baseline.
Okay. Okay. So that was a held ball. She came in with a foul. Her partner came in with a violation. That's what happened there. All right. So a couple mistakes. Only sub varsity, no varsity. All right. Who? How about a 4? Any 4s out there? 5s. All right, we got some 5s. Zach, what's one thing they did at 5? Okay. Eric. What's that? Yeah, go for it. All right, so I love it. Okay. That's the difference between a 5 and a 6. Because the 6 is going to be wider than the basketball. Big picture. I am going to be watching the lane. However, how many people, because the defender turned a certain way, the offensive player turned a certain way, you lost the vision of it as a trail? Okay. So you nailed it. That is a state tournament mechanic. My responsibility is right here. I am not turning. I am not turning away from my lane line. I can't do that. But that's the difference between a 5 and a 6. I am going to get to a position on the court wider, so I do not lose my area responsibility. But if my trail official needs help, guess what? I could help. 2 versus 3. They don't know where that foot was. Was it on the line? Was it not on the line? Defender got in my way. Right? Peek at that. Absolutely. Every single time in college basketball, I am peeking at that. All right. Yes. Two closest. Okay. Again, that's the difference between 5 and a 6. Okay. 5, all dead ball officiating. 5, all of them not looking and looking at the possession of who's got the ball next. What's the difference between 5 and a 6? The guy or gal who is farthest away from that stayed away. They have the big picture. They're there to help. 100%. Go ahead, Tyler. Eric, one more. Yep. So this is a very, very, very short activity, 5 minutes. I will tell you, all 3 of those officials are 5s across the board. Okay, they're 5s across the board. That is a state championship crew. But notice how, as officials, we notice the littlest things that separated officials from officials. All right, so what I'm going to end here, since you guys are varsity basketball officials, you are aspiring varsity basketball officials, you have to do this activity on yourself. Literally watch yourself a whole game. Write down every single note from the information learned here, if you come to tryouts from the information learned from tryouts, as you get information from veterans throughout the season, add that to your tool belt. Okay, so it doesn't take much to go from a 4 to a 5 to a 6. Has nothing, I'm telling you, it has nothing to do with judgment. It has everything to what we just did there, what we observed there. Positioning, mannerisms, movement, open hand, close hand, bump and run, no bump and run. There was also that there as well. All right, and then the body language of the partner when there wasn't a bump and run. That's the stuff that observers look at. And beyond that, coaches notice that. Promise you coaches at that level notice it. Okay. So that does conclude practice today, 7:35. If you have questions on being a captain, all right, the question will be answered in an email. So if you want to be a captain, you want to do this with youth and middle school basketball officials, we are looking for about 10 more captains. All right, so we have 10 right now, including our coaches. We had the captains at our captains meeting first time. Let us know you want to do it, and we'll invite you to do it. And then varsity tryouts is Sunday, November 2nd. Is anybody in here that wants to do the tryout November 2nd and did not get the invite? All right, then May, I got to send that to you then. All right, because I'll make sure. Casey, okay, so I'll send that to you here in a second. And then before you leave, make sure you sign the piece of paper here so you get credit for attendance. Did we find that rule on the shot, charge, release? Okay. I'm going to try to look that up right now. Those of you who are online or watching, thank you for attending. And those officials that are in the room, we're only as good as our last call. So make your next call your best call and then keep on making those great calls after that. All right. Have a good night, guys.
Hey, if you guys could put your name in the chat, if you haven't already, put your name in the chat. I have everybody down so far. Zach, I will ask Sean about the email handout and have him send that out. Thanks everybody for joining.